10 years ago, I was homeless with my child and our dog. A series of occurrences in life went in a direction I could have never forecasted. We were, literally, homeless. It did not matter how hard I had worked for many years, how many people I had helped, or what good I had done in the world. There we were, with nowhere to live and nowhere to go. It was terrifying, daunting, and I had no idea what to do. In addition, I had no work, so I had no source of income. I did not know what to do. I was lost, sad, frightened, and overwhelmed. But with no one else to count on except myself, I had to find a way to take care of my little family. Because I had been betrayed and taken advantage of, I did not trust others. So what could I do? Start. Just start. First, I needed to find a temporary place for us to sleep, and I needed to find somewhere to place our belongings. I also needed to move us far away from where the bad things had happened to us. So I prayed, and somehow, some way, I was able to rent a truck and a trailer to haul our car on. I have no idea how I was able to do that. My credit card only had $500 available on it, and I did not have gas or food money for us. I just kept taking steps in the directions we needed to go in, even though I did not have not any of the resources necessary to start over. I want to also share with you that I have a lot of formal education in addition to having had a career and always working very hard, but none of that mattered. Life is the great equalizer, and when bad things happen, all of the education or experience in the world cannot stop the bad from happening. There are no exceptions. Life happens to us all. I do not know how, but somehow I summoned the strength to load the truck, went to Home Depot and convinced them to load my car onto the trailer, even though their store policies say they cannot do so. I drove my child and our dog from Tennessee to Mississippi. That is a long drive. I got the truck and trailer stuck at a gas pump somewhere on that trip because I could not navigate such a long truck and trailer. I cannot tell you how I managed to get the truck unstuck. All I knew was that I had to succeed, that I had to take care of the little family God had given me, regardless of what anyone else did or did not do to help us. With incredible stress and even terror, I drove us to a place to make a new start. I placed our belongings in a storage space. I honestly cannot tell you how I made any of this happen, as I did not have income, but somehow, because I just kept trying, despite my terror, somehow I kept moving toward what I knew I needed to make happen. I found a place for me and my child and our dog to stay temporarily. It was surely not the best situation, by any means, but it was a place to sleep. That was the best I could do. I started applying for any job, just anything, to get us started, but life would not cooperate. No one would hire me, no matter how much I lowered my expectations. I did not know what else to do. I had to have a source of income. So, somehow, I took a craft I had worked on earlier in my life and started creating some earrings. I took my child and our dog and a little fold-up end table and set up at a free local farmer's market. Anyone that showed interest in the earrings, I told them they could pay whatever the price they wanted to. When someone purchased a pair of the earrings for $5, I felt like the most fortunate woman on planet Earth. $5. My God, I was so happy to have that $5. I could buy some food for my little family. I could put gasoline in our car. I also did not yet share that in addition to all that had occurred, I was homeschooling my child. So I had the additional responsibility of making sure all school lessons were completed during the week. I honestly do not know how I was able to manage so much. When you need to survive and take care of others, you find a way, nevertheless. I kept finding additional markets to sell my hand-created jewelry at. Eventually, I was able to actually raise the prices to $12 an item. $12 seemed like $1,000,000 after having no money. Somehow, some way, I found an apartment that would not run a credit check. I was able to save enough money to move my little family into that apartment. It was so dirty. I scrubbed for hours and hours. A drug dealer had lived in the apartment before we moved in, so people kept coming to the door all hours of the day and night. I was somewhere between mad and sad, but I just had to keep going. I offered to babysit a friend's children for $20 a day. I worked 10 hours a day babysitting and still continued to sell my hand-created jewelry at markets. In time, someone offered me a job to clean houses 2 days a week. That paid $60 a day, and I kept selling my hand-created jewelry. I found a nicer apartment in a safe area and applied for it. I think God gave us that apartment because he was tired of listening to me begging him for help. Sweet God, he answered my prayers. We were approved for the new apartment and moved in. How grateful was I? And so I kept moving forward, still scared, still unsure, still not knowing what I was going to do most days. You know, you just cannot give up. Giving up is not an option. I found an inexpensive community center that offered voice lessons for my sweet child. The voice teacher was talking to me one day and asked why I don't go to some museums and ask them to sell my jewelry. I told her because most assuredly my jewelry would never be accepted by a museum. But I had to do it again. I had to do something that terrified me and seemed impossible. Why? Because I needed to progress. The way my little family's life was going was still unacceptable. I had to make better occur. So I gathered all the courage I really did not have and took my child, and we walked into a museum gift shop and asked to speak to the manager. And by some quite inconceivable miracle, they liked my jewelry and offered to sell it on consignment. I wanted to help others. We are still not in a good place ourselves in housing and finances, but I wanted to help others. So I called a local organization that helped people to be rescued from human trafficking and asked if I could help them raise money through my jewelry. And they said yes. And again, I have no idea how any of this was occurring, except that I kept praying and kept trying and crying. Goodness, I cried a lot. But regardless, every day I woke up, and in all of my fear and worry, I took action. I began to contact more organizations and even other people that just needed help, such as a young woman who had a terrible illness and her family had no money to pay for her medical needs. I kept offering to help raise money for others' needs through selling my jewelry. I would sell my jewelry and donate 40% of the proceeds to those in need. Eventually, I created a name for what I was doing, which is community projects, and I continued to offer help to veterans, the homeless, museums, universities, the disabled, small local causes up to international organizations. And it evolved. Community projects took on a life of its own. I started to sell my jewelry online. I taught myself photography and how to build a website. I taught myself marketing. I contacted more museums, and no matter how many rejections I received, I kept trying. And somehow, I continued to homeschool my child. I have no idea how I managed to do all of this alone. 10 years later, I will not say that life is easy. I certainly have many challenges that seem insurmountable, but somehow I keep striving to do more, to help the world, to be healthy, to take care of the little family God so mercifully gave me, and to move in the direction of my dreams. Dreams are from God. Don't give up on them simply because you do not know how to accomplish them. Get up every day, even and especially the days you do not feel like getting up. Get up nevertheless and keep advancing in the direction of your dreams. Now, my jewelry line is sold in museums, has a 5-star rating on Amazon and Etsy. My child is thriving, and we started a new venture, Swanky Genius, where we write books and create original art journals to encourage others. I still do not know how I do what I do, and particularly when life has so many challenges in these tumultuous times we are all living in. But I do know one thing that is definite. You just cannot give up. Your dreams will come true. Take action every day, no matter how futile, how hopeless your life seems. You too will make your dreams come true. God is with you, even and especially when you think He is not. I love you.